Hello students, welcome to West Bengal English Medium Guide. Today I am going to give you the last part and the final part of this chapter, the Mughal Empire, the inside question answers. So this one is from class 7 History West Bengal Board. I have given part 1, 2 and 3 in the previous video. If you have missed, then please check out the description box or playlist. You will find those videos from there. Okay, so let's start from question number 8. What was Diwani Am? Akbar held darbars for common people too, which took place in a hall for public audience known as Diwani Am. 109. Name some important officials in Akbar's administration. Some important officials in Akbar's administration were as follows: Wazir or Diwan, who was in charge of the revenue department; Mir Bakshi, who was the head of the military department; Mir Saman, who acted as a supervisor of the royal household; Sadr-e-Jahan or Qazi, who was advisor of emperor in religious matters and was the chief judge whose judicial authority was only next to the emperor; sometimes a vakil or prime minister who also appointed, but he used to have only advisory power during the reign of Akbar. 110. Akbar's empire was divided into 15 provinces or subas. 111. Who are Subedar? Akbar's empire was divided 15 provinces or subas. Each suba was placed under the control of a governor known as Subedar, who exercised authority in both civil and military affairs. 112. Who was responsible for maintaining land revenue records? Diwan. Suba was divided into sarkars and each sarkar was divided into paraganas, which was the lowest administrative unit who controlled it. The lowest administrative unit was a village which was controlled by a panchayat, which constituted a paragana. A number of villages constituted a paragana. Number 116. Who governed towns? Towns were governed by kotwals. Mention the responsibilities of kotwal. Kotwals were responsible for maintaining law and order and keeping a record of people living in the town. One of the most remarkable features of Akbar's administration was the Mansabdari system, which had both a military and a civil aspect attached to it. Who were Mansabdars? Apart from maintaining a standing army and a group of trusted royal soldiers, Akbar distributed the military responsibilities among a group of officials known as Mansabdars. Who appointed the Mansabdars? The emperor. What does the word mansab mean? The word mansab means rank. How many lowest and highest rank are there in the mansabdari system? The lowest rank in the mansabdari system was 10 and the highest being 5,000. For whom were the higher rank of mansabdari system reserved? The higher ranks were reserved for princes. Who was Akbar's revenue minister of sorry? Who was Akbar's revenue minister? What has been he credited with, or what is Tadar Mahal Bandobast? Tadar Mahal, Akbar's revenue minister, has been credited with the conception and implementation of revenue system. Therefore, it is often referred to as the Tadar Mahal Bandobast. 125. Describe Tadar Mahal Bandobast system. According to the Todal Mahal Bandobast system, land was measured by bamboo reeds that were joined with iron rings. This was a more accurate system of land measurement than the previous system where land was measured with the help of a rope. 126. What was the division of land on the basis of fertility? On the basis of fertility, land was divided into four categories: Polaj, Parati, Chachar and Banjar. Which is the most fertile land? Polaj. Which is the least fertile land? Banjar. How was the land revenue determined? The average produce from a land in the previous 10 years was calculated as well as the average price of the crop that was cultivated. The land revenue was determined on the basis of this average. What was the rate of revenue? The rate of revenue was fixed at one third of the average produce. How could peasants pay the revenue? Peasants could pay the revenue in cash or in crop. Which welfare measures were introduced by Akbar for peasants? Peasants could take loans. The emperor asked his revenue officials to be lenient. In times of drought or flood, the peasants were exempted for paying revenues. With which with which countries did the traders of the Mughal traders had established relations? The traders of Mughal era had established relations with China, Europe, and China and Central Asia. Okay, number 134. Which were the main items for export? Textile, indigo, and spices. Which new capital was established by Akbar? Fatehpur Sikri. 136. Which religious people attended the series of debate in Fatehpur Sikri? Christians, Hindu, Jain, and Zoroastrians. 137. Which prayer hall was built at Fatehpur Sikri? Ibadat Khana. 138. What did Akbar preach to unite his empire on the basis of common ideals? In order to unite his empire on the basis of common ideals, Akbar preached Suli-e-Kul, or the principle of universal peace. 139. Which new religious order was introduced by Akbar? Din-e-Ilahi. 140. What was the main motive of Din-e-Ilahi? Din-e-Ilahi was not a new religion, rather a moral code based on the belief in one God, universal fraternity, mutual respect, and peace, the values that are accepted by all religions. It had no religious scripture, priestly class, or rituals. 141. When was Aurangzeb died? Aurangzeb was died in 1707 C. 148. How long the Mughal emperor lasted till? Mughal emperor lasted till 1857 C. 143. Who was the last Mughal emperor? Bahadur Shah Zafar. 144. Why did the Mughal Empire weakened? Weaken. Why did the Mughal Emperor weaken? The Mughal Empire weakened considerably after Aurangzeb's death in 1707 C. The Mughal Empire lasted till 1857 C. When the last Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar was arrested and exiled to Rangoon by the British, the later Mughal rulers were weak and inefficient. 145. The Mughals had a great influence on our art, architecture, culture, and cuisine. Okay, so these are total 145 inside question answers from chapter number 4, the Mughal Empire. So if you have missed any parts of this chapter, you can visit the playlist or description box. You will find all the parts of this chapter from there. So that's all for today. See you soon with a new video. Till then, take care and bye.